What's up, YouTube? So, this is a no spoiler review of the movie Birth of the Dragon. And it's a movie, obviously, about Bruce Lee, if you know it, and his fight with Wang Jackman. So, I saw this movie at the Toronto International Film Festival a couple of weeks ago when it was showing here. And I went with a few friends, and I tell you, the whole theater loved the movie. And maybe it's because it was a festival, but at the end of the movie, everyone was applauding. Everyone loved it. And the reason I want to do this review is because, after seeing the movie, I started watching trailers and I started watching trailer reactions because I loved the movie. I kind of wanted to, I didn't have enough of it. I wanted to see what other people were thinking of the trailer. And I would definitely see it again with more people when it comes out. But some people were casting doubts on the movie, saying that the trailer wasn't impressive or that doesn't feel like Bruce Lee, or how can he be like that? So I wanted to kind of do the movie justice and explain some things and explain why the movie is done the way it's done, and hopefully just spread a little bit more knowledge about Bruce Lee in general. So I will try very, very hard not to spoil anything, aside from very slight hints from the movie, just for discussion's sake. So the movie begins with a tournament between two styles, and I'm very excited because I practice one of the styles. So, and that introduces Wang Jackman, and and then it introduces Bruce Lee around the same period. And this is from the trailer where you see Mr. McKee, as Wang Jackman calls him in the movie, or Mac, meet Bruce Lee, and then Bruce Lee says, "You're in front of my doorway. You're here for my class." Like, so that's very typical Bruce Lee philosophy, like mixing kind of like almost like Eastern philosophy style with his personalities. That was really cool. I thought that was pretty authentic. And then the story develops, and of course it shows, there's a bit of character development, but then it shows off, the main story, of course, arises when Wang Jackman arrives in San Francisco. Now, obviously the movie is fiction, so the story isn't authentic, it's not real, it's loosely based on facts. But the fact is that Bruce Lee had a fight with Wang Jackman, and then it did change his martial arts style. So I went into the movie thinking that it was just about a fight that changed Bruce Lee's martial arts style, but eventually I realized that it's about changing more than that, and you will get that in the movie. You realize that what it's there to change. So there are scenes from the movie where you can tell Bruce Lee is a good teacher. Like, he's through sparring, he can tell when something's bothering you, and he can learn things about you through sparring. There's an expression in Chinese, 不打不相识, which was used in The Matrix, but not to the same effect. In one of the Matrix movies, the guy says, "You don't truly know someone until you fight them." So that's a very popular Chinese expression, which means you can learn about someone. You can get to know someone through just sparring or fighting with them. And Bruce Lee does that, and you can tell he's a good trainer through doing that. You can tell that from his interaction with Mac, which is supposed to be the main character in the movie. So that's the thing that a lot of people have against the movie. It's like, oh my god, it's a movie about Bruce Lee, but he's starring a white guy. What the hell is with that? Now, he's not the star of the movie. There is a plot that revolves around him, but he's like a narrator. Like he's a narrator for the movie because it's about two icons, and these two icons, Wang Jackman and Bruce Lee, they don't like each other, right? So there's obviously things that if you focus on one person, you won't get from the other person. And this movie is actually about the conflict in their philosophy. Not the real life, not what happened in history, but in the story, the conflict between Bruce Lee's philosophy and Wang Jackman's philosophy. And somebody has to be exposed to both and feel that conflict, and then have the movie bring it all together. And that's what Mac serves the purpose of, other than driving, like, the background plot. But so he's supposed to bring these two guys together and make you the audience connect with him and feel that conflict. Now, the other thing people talked about, is that, oh my god, Bruce Lee doesn't look like Bruce Lee. I mean, obviously you can't just find someone that looks like Bruce Lee. You need to find someone that behaves like him and talks like him. And this is where oh my god, like Philip Ng, he did really well in this part, in just making sure that Bruce Lee behaves like Bruce Lee. Like, he's got that cocky attitude, and he's got that accent. It's perfect because you need Bruce Lee to be from Hong Kong, but you need someone who's familiar with U.S. culture, but with that wit, with that cockiness, and that's right there. So throughout the movie, this is the other complaint I hear about from the trailers. Like, why is Bruce Lee so cocky? Why is he saying kung fu is used for kicking ass? Like, isn't he supposed to be a philosophical person? But in real life he is cocky. In real life he is very cocky, and he was pretty much undefeated, and that's where that cocky attitude comes from. And in the movie they played on that, but they wanted to show, because this movie is about transformation, it's Birth of the Dragon, so they obviously want to show character development and maturity, and who was he before the dragon was born. Because in real life, it's just basically what happened in real life was that he fought Wang Jackman, and according to Wikipedia, I'm not an expert on this, I just read Wikipedia. Wang started running, and Li chased him and started punching him with Wing Chun to the back of his head and to his back, and his fist started swelling. So that's why he thought, oh my god, Wing Chun is not effective, because if I'm punching someone's hard head, I'm gonna hurt my fist. And that's why he changed his style and developed Jeet Kune Do. But in the movie, the transformation is more about changing the martial arts style. There is actually a growing up, maturing phase through this movie, and according to this movie, I don't want to say too much, but that's what the fight is bringing to him, and that'll be very evident when you watch the movie. So now, in real life, there were different stories, but supposedly he won against Wang. By the way, it's Wang in English, but it's a Cantonese translation. So the last name Wang in Mandarin does not correspond with Wang. It's actually Huang Zemin, and in Cantonese, my pronunciation is not great, Wang Zapman or something like that, right? So that became Wang Jackman. And Bruce Lee's name threw me off because, again, I'm not an expert. So in the movie, when Wang Jackman referred to him, he said, I'm familiar with Li Zhenfan. And I was like, who? And then, because I thought his Chinese name was Li Xiaolong, Li Little Dragon. And it turns out that name is actually a stage name given to him when he was around 10 years old in a movie in Hong Kong. And he kept it as a stage name, but his actual Chinese name is Li Zhenfan. And Bruce was given to him by one of the nurses or doctors at the hospital. So yeah, but so that's cool. I learned something about him. I learned his real name. Yeah, so in the movie, that's the other thing I liked about the movie is the fighting. They don't use too much, special effects, CGI, and it's not as flashy as like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And this is why, I said that the fighting's pretty authentic, and people are like, "What are you talking about? It's authentic." It's not authentic. Like, they were supposed to be trying to kill each other in this fight. There was, nothing held back, and that was the rule they established for this fight. So supposedly Lee was trying to kill him, and in the movie, people were saying he could have gone for her. He did go for the kill. That's all I'm gonna say. But people were saying that he should have fought dirtier if it was the street. If it was actually like it was saying Kung Fu is for kicking ass, it's for the streets. But in the movie, it's still choreographed. But what I'm talking about is that it's authentic in a way. It's like, for the most part, okay, for the most part, they look like real Kung Fu moves that you can do, and they're not like flying through the air on wires, kind of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, very flashy type of. It was just. 套路, or just like form. It's actually fighting, is what I'm saying, is that it looks authentic, and the cinematography is done really well, the sound effects are done really well, the way they shot the scenes are done really well, and they really brought out the two characters really well, the conflicting philosophies. They're both very likable, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say that because of the main plot that's driven, yeah, it gets pretty exciting towards the end. And you won't regret seeing, like, it's if you remember the Rock versus Hulk Hogan fight at WrestleMania that happened in Toronto, or maybe you saw it on TV, the end of the movie gave me that feel. So you know what I mean. I was really excited, and during the movie, I was so excited that a few times in the theater I went like that. And one of my friends that went with me, she's a doctor. and she thought I was cold or I wasn't feeling well. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I couldn't talk in the movie. I couldn't speak in the theater. I was just like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But I was really excited. I was like, so many times because it's that exciting. You know, if you get immersed in the story, there are so many things familiar about Bruce Lee that you will see that you'll pick out in the movie. And they pay homage to him, like the scene where there's a scene where you saw it in the trailer where he gets like scratches on his skin, and he rips apart his shirt. So that's from one of his movies, but it happens in this movie. It's weird. Both characters have their own type of humor, which is very apparent as the movie goes on. And yes, there is a typical Asian girl in the movie. I can't spoil too much, but that part is like stereotypical. A white guy, Asian girl drives the plot, saves the gotta save the girl kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, don't worry about anything. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the concerns you have from the trailers, like that's not like Bruce Lee. Did they do him justice? I mean, they do. The movie is great. Everyone loved it at the theater. And what's really cool is at the end of the end of credit scenes, I saw that Wong Jack Man. We stayed for the credits because it was at TIFF. I thought the director may come out. Turns out he did come out with all the actors, for one of the showings, but not the one that we went to, which was the last showing. But I saw that Wong Jack Man was a consultant on the movie, so that's pretty cool, and that actually explained why Wong's character was so well developed in the movie, and he seemed like such a wise, mature character because he consulted on the movie. So regardless of what happened in real life, which is that Bruce Lee chased him for 3 minutes and ended the fight with him giving up, in the movie, the character played well. I mean, it's not meant to be a biography. It's a biopic movie. They said is loosely based on facts, right? So again, in real life, Bruce Lee supposedly chased after him and started using Wun Chun to punch him in the back of the head and back, and realized his fists were hurting. So he developed Jeet Kune Do afterwards. In the movie, it's more about transforming his philosophy rather than his martial arts style. Although there is some kind of transformation, they hint at that at the very end. Where it's like, oh, hey, is that Wing Chun? You'll see in the movie. So that's what I want to talk. That's what I want to say about the movie. Overall, I loved it. I would give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, probably because I'm a Bruce Lee fan, but I'm not a hardcore Bruce Lee fan. There are hardcore Bruce Lee fans that would give it even higher. And if you're not a Bruce Lee fan, I tell you, this is a very fun martial arts movie. There hasn't been a very authentic, like a little more down to earth, so it's not all fantasy, like it's a movie about martial arts. That's what I'm gonna say. From beginning to end, it's about martial arts, so that's cool. So definitely, I mean, it's at the film festivals right now. I'll bet you, because it's about Bruce Lee and it was shot in English, but the beginning of the movie was in Mandarin. But someone will buy the rights here and you will see it and you won't regret it. So definitely, it's a good movie. Definitely, I recommend it for everybody. And yeah, 8 out of 10. So there you go. Hopefully when the movie comes out and you go see it, you will agree with me, but I know some people won't agree with me. That's cool. So if you like what I said, give me a like, give me a subscribe if you do. Otherwise, post your comments below. Give me a dislike, doesn't matter. We can discuss. So yeah, that's it. So that's it, YouTube. That's all I have to say today. Have a great day, and I'll see you again.